Why is it considered a drug? Because it changes our physical and emotional state, and it is classified as being a depressant. And the reason why we classify that as a depressant is because it causes a lot of slowing down of the system in general. The brain gets slowed down, and the moment the brain gets slowed down, your body gets slowed down. And that is after you had a couple of drinks. What's a drink? It's 12 ounces of beer, that's equal to almost 5 ounces of table wine or 1.5 shots of whiskey, spirit, rum, gin, whatever you want to call that. Emotions. They're always in control, right? Certain people have inhibitions. They cannot talk much in public speaking places, or they cannot dance when there's a music happening, or they cannot participate in a party because they're inhibited. They cannot speak up. And what does alcohol do with this? It takes them away. Inhibitions are gone the moment we start drinking. What can it cause? It can cause a lot of things. Drinking has been implicated in too many things. Like 65% of the total injuries, drownings, homicides, alcohol has been involved. 50% of the trauma, like 1 in 2 of every traumatic injury, alcohol is involved. Almost like 1 in 2 of all the motor vehicle accidents, alcohol is involved. Men and women, I'm talking about the differences. Women are more lean, they have much of body fat, they have less water in them. So that's why they're going to get drunk quicker than compared to men. Almost like 50% more. This value didn't come up, it's like 25%. So binge drinking in 2014, of all the adults in USA, at least a quarter drank. Binge drinking, at least a quarter. And this is like 7% here. The value didn't come up, but it's 7%. So 7% of adults right now in the US, they are having some sort of alcohol use disorder. That's a lot. It's progressive, gets worse, and it's relapsing. So it's always relapsing. So somebody could relapse after 25 years from religious experience. So does it change the brain? Is the question, right? So generally what happens is when we have our natural pleasures, like we eat food, we think about a romantic song, we go with our lover, we go with our wife, and we get some rush in our brain, right? These are all the pleasurable hormones, the happy hormones that get released whenever we have a pleasurable event, like sex, like food, like some other thing. The same thing happens with drugs of abuse. The same thing happens. These chemical triggers happen with drugs of abuse as well. And alcohol is one of the drugs of abuse, right? And this is all the intelligent part of the brain. The top part is all the intelligent part. This is where we make the choices. This is where we make all the intelligent decisions that we make. And these underlying structures, these are much more within the brain, inside the brain. This is where the pleasure is located, because we as animals, there are only two things that we are programmed to do. One is seek pleasure, two, to avoid pain. We do anything, all the activities you can compare. There's only two things we do. We either avoid the pain or we seek pleasure, right? Why does somebody relapse? Well, there's a lot of reasons why somebody would relapse. One of the things that Elish was talking about, and then one of the things that people say is, let me have this one drink, or let me drink a beer. I used to drink whiskey before, that was stronger. Let me have a beer, beer is okay. So we try to do it in a different form, and that could lead to a relapse. And exposure to cues. When we talk about exposure to cues, we are talking about an addict driving in front of a bar, sees the bar, and then something clicks in the brain. Because we talked about the emotional memory, right? So the emotional memory kicks in and it says, ooh, that is associated. The bar is associated with some sort of pleasure. So I walk in, just for one drink, just for one drink. This is just a simple test that we do to just say, have you got an alcohol problem or not? This is something that we can do generally anywhere, like bedside, like in a train station or anywhere. There's only 4 things in here. It's called CAGE questionnaire. It's internationally accepted one. If you get 2 questions of yes answers in the 4, then you need to go further into your alcohol drinking and then think about it. Think about, are you an addict? What are we talking about? Have you ever felt the need that you yourself, have you ever felt that you should cut down your drinking? People around you, have they annoyed you? Or have they got annoyed? Or have they criticized about your drinking? Ever? Did you ever feel guilty that you're drinking more or you're drinking too many times? Or have you ever drank alcohol as an eye-opener, as in, I don't feel good, let me have a drink and then I can start my day? If any of the 4, in any of the 4, if you have 2 yes responses, then it means that address your drink.